How about first band shirt?
Yeah, first band shirt?
Yeah, that you ever got.
Probably the Sex Pistols. No, the Ramones. The Ramones are what made me like want to pick up strap blank punk rock.
And do you think it will ever be possible for us to live on the Mars or the Moon or another planet?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
And how about your...
You used to stay away on our age.
Yeah? And how about your bucket list musicians to meet?
To meet?
Yeah.
I'm not that enamored with anyone. I don't care.
I can't really think of anybody either. Yeah, I can't really think of anybody that I'm dying to meet. There's lots of talent out there, but I don't know.
I would have liked to have met Hunter Thompson.
Right?
How about your dream tour?
Probably with the Spice Girls in the heyday. A dream tour would be one where I wasn't hassled by anybody. There were no cops anywhere around me. And there was plenty of food. And I get to sleep.
Yeah. Sleep well, and you actually have some money when you get home too.
Right.
And
In other words, we're not asking for much.
And will a time machine, a teleportation device, or holodeck ever be possible to be in real life?
I don't think so. I think that's impossible.
The whole Philadelphia experiment thing?
Well, unless it's like, you know, when you fly to Australia or something, you kind of go back in time a little bit just because of the...
Are we able to like take apart like the body,
Yeah.
molecule by molecule, and reassemble it in the same manner?
No. They can't even make good phones these
At
days.
least not in this, not in our lifetime, anyway.
And do you think the Yeti or Bigfoot, do you think they exist?
No.
And how about your favorite venue that you went to growing up and favorite venue you went to that closed down?
Growing up, well, the favorite venue I went to growing up is the same favorite venue that had closed down. There are two of them basically. They're kind of related. The Rat in Boston and CBGB's in New York. Both of them we played plenty of times.
When the channel in Boston was always one of my favorites.
Yeah, more than that?
Not really. You know, it was different. It was a different feel. Like you get the bigger bands and more people at the channel. But no, I definitely, as far as clubs we played in, the Rat's the one I miss the most.
And how do you guys feel about Green Day being in the Hall of Fame?
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And what other punk bands do you think should be in the Hall of Fame that really define the punk rock that it is today?
They haven't made it?
Yeah, that should be in the Hall of Fame.
Angry Samoans, for me, that's always been a standout, like over all the years.
UK subs.
Right?
I mean, they've done it for life, you know?
Yeah. But it kind of, I don't know, it kind of seems like just talking about punk rock in the Hall of Fame, like those two ideas barely belong in the same thought, you know?
Yeah, good point.
You know, I mean, I not vainly, because I'm just been a tag-along member, but you know.
Are the Ramones in there?
Oh, yeah, the Ramones, and I gotta say, the Freeze deserves a spot in punk rock history. You know, bigger than what it is right now. You know, yeah.
And if you guys had a mascot, what would it be?
There it is.
We do have a mascot. The beast that never sleeps.
And how do you guys feel when bands need gimmicks to survive?
You're sort of losing your the creative edge at that point.
I think it's fine. Like, I think gimmicks are fun if it's, you know, adds to like the live aspect of seeing that band. But
Well, I mean, when bands like the Dickies would come out, like with, you know,
with the puppet,
with a penis puppet and shit like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's just already adding to what was like just a good song anyway. I mean,
Right, right.
It's not like you're using it. It depends if they're using the gimmick as a crutch or not.
exactly. If it's based on gimmick, then there's no substance.
How about How about craziest ticket sale you heard of? Like a modern artist, like somebody bought it for like $100 or $500 because the show sold out.
Probably
Again, I'd have to say the Freeze.
yeah, the I Hate Chorus single, our first single, seeing the fucking thing that we used to throw, we used to throw them out for free at the crowds and stuff. It's like, you know, we made them ourselves. We never thought we would sell outside of our area or in Cape Cod, Massachusetts and stuff. And then seeing like it go for like almost $1,000 on eBay, my last test pressing I had.
And the most disgusting ticket sale prices would have to be for the Rolling Stones. You know, especially the secondhand tickets that would go anywhere from 1,000 apiece to upwards. You know.
And what do you think about cover bands? Like being a cover band and that's how you do your career. Like you can't make original music, but you always do cover songs and cover music.
As long as they don't think they're too self-important, I mean, there's room for everybody, I suppose.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that end up being in cover bands for a lot of different reasons. Like, but if they can actually make money doing
They
it,
can make a living doing that rather than sit in a cubicle with for a corporate entity. Then it's like, right, I think that's a much better job.
yeah.
And when bands wear masks and wear makeup, is there a point in that? Is it just pointless?
Depends how much they rely on it.
Yeah, that kind of goes with the gimmick thing. But if it's a band like Kiss, that you get disappointed if they don't have it, you know, because that's part of their band identity, you know. But I'm all for like anything that makes the live performance of a good recording entertaining, you know.
I mean, it depends what age group you're going for too. You know, when I was like 13, 14, I was like really into. I like Alice Cooper a lot. You know, and Alice Cooper always had that shit going on.
Yeah.
The gimmick and the makeup. But you know, it was effective to me at that age. You know. Now it would have seemed just like, let's like to see it. But
Yeah. But not many can really sustain it, you know.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's like Cliff said before, like, as long as the quality of the music is there first,
yeah.
then, you know, I mean, look at David Bowie. You know, he went through countless reincarnations, you know, of his public persona, but he could carry it off, but not everybody, you know.
Right.
And how you guys feel about the music industry versus mainstream, local, underground, and sellout bands?
I think a lot of the independent labels learned how to be just as corrupt as the major labels. And it's still rare to find a gem out there.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't really heard of any situation where the band and the label have good mutual cooperation that both benefit. You know, seems like the label always benefits. You know,
Modern Method and Doctor Strange are like the two that I can recommend as far as like the many we've been on. Tang and Lost and Found, probably the two most corrupt we've been on. You know, just again, when you get any that whole absolute power corrupts absolutely, whether it's a major label or an independent label that has complete control, yanks creative control from the band, they're just as bad as the major labels. It's a small version of the major labels. And it's actually, it's much worse because they're pretending they're one of you. You know, and they lure you in that way.
Yeah.
So it's even much worse. It's like, you know, priest fucking kids or something.
And in the next 5 years, how do you think the music industry will be with recording gear? What will it lead to?
I don't think the recording thing's gonna be nice. I think it's be like, because it's already like so much easier to just record stuff, you know, in your bedroom or in your home. And the prices for that kind of like equipment go down and software go down, and you know, more that's going to happen. I think you're going to have more like shit put out. You know, basically like people that don't have much talent but think they do. But I mean, again, usually the cream will rise to the top of that kind of stuff. So I think like you're going to find more digital downloads and less, well, it's already happening. You know, people buying less hard, you know, copy stuff and less albums and CDs. And just because I don't give a shit anymore when having CDs, unless it's our own to have. But
Yeah.
everything's on my Android. All the songs I just download my favorite songs and that. And I do it pirated too. You know, like,
Yeah, there's no control over it anymore. You know, so many middlemen have been cut out, but the bands are still kind of, you know, taking it on the.
I don't care if people pirate. I mean, I don't care if people like download illegally our songs.
Right.
I mean, they'll take the songs and play it for their friends if they like it, and you know, if they want the CD, the lyrics or something like that, they'll go buy it. You know?
It kind of like gives it more exposure. You know, if like 1 out of the 10 actually go out and buy it. You know. Yeah.
And how do you guys feel about the argument of UK versus USA punk rock?
There's no argument with me.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. You know.
Punk rock.
Yeah. So it can be UK, it can be from Kenya. It doesn't matter. You know, if the
Geographical location has nothing to do with whether the song is a good song or not.
And in the next 5 years, do you think there will be like another G.I. Joe type thing, or there'll just be junk that will come out?
What is a G.I. Joe type thing?
You know, like a soldier kind of action figure. Will the quality of the toys go down and be junky, or will they be like unique like that in the next 5 years?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really have any thoughts on that. You know, I think the toy industry is out of hand, and everything has gotten cheaper and less quality.
Whenever there's a big new movie, there's all kinds of fucking toy fucking sales tied into it. You know?
Yeah, like the movie's just a vehicle to sell that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about fashion, TVs, and movies in the music industry? Like, do they all go together? Do they all connect together?
Most of the time. Yeah, it's all linked, you know. When you want to find out who did the best.
It doesn't with me. It doesn't at the top. But it doesn't with me. I could care less what the fucking fashion industry has to offer, but I still write and play music.
And how about the most underrated bands in this genre of music that just haven't got the recognition they deserve?
I'd say we're in that category too, and most of the bands, unfortunately, aren't even around anymore. But some of the best stuff that I ever heard, you know, and stuff, mostly stuff that
Bands that should have been big, that like, you know, that Drama Rama, for instance, like,
Yeah.
you know, by the standards of, you know, what makes the band you know, what makes a band popular, they had it all. They
Yeah.
still do, you know, but they just never except for that one song, Anything, never really had any. It's the Last Cigarette. They really had any.
Right.
But they had like, to me, six or seven potential hits per album. Therapy is another band that I liked that I never got the recognition they deserve beyond that one album. Leatherface is one of my favorite bands, and they're no more popular. They were no more popular than we are. They broke up, I guess, when the guitarist died.
Right. There were a lot of bands that were only around for maybe one album, but that was probably like, that one album would be in your top 50 all time, so that's like a bottomless well of bands that, underappreciated, forgotten. That's the worst thing.
Almost all the bands that I listen to now, it's like I try to go find their CDs or something, or albums. It's like out of print.
Yeah.
It just kind of shows my age through the year period. But it's kind of sad because some of the best stuff is basically now obsolete.
Yeah.
And how do you guys feel about poser bands and bands that are controlled by their label, that do anything the label wants them to, and on the other side, poser bands?
How do you think we do?
Yeah.
It's sad to be. It's sad to have to be a puppet.
Yeah, I definitely
Which is what a poser band is. I wouldn't. We can define poser too, but I mean like whatever.
Yeah, like I wouldn't trade the bands that I'm involved in for $1 million a year gig with like Good Charlotte or something. Forget that. I think that whole thing, like all those bands.
Any band that portrays themselves as something that they're not.
Yeah.
And one comes to mind. I won't name it, but like they come off as like working class Irish and stuff, when really they come from $1 million families. At least a couple of them do, and
none of them are from Ireland.
Yeah, none of them are from Ireland, and that's posing to me.
Yeah.
Pretending you're something you're not.
I kind of feel sorry for them because,
they're built on a fake foundation.
Yeah, and you have to live with yourself at the end of the day.
What's Springsteen still doing, singing about the working class man? What the fuck does he still know about that?
Probably less than he knew about it like before.
The only reason, we were just talking about this last night. That the only reason that I think we remain relevant in the punk genre, and I'm almost 55 years old now, and why I can still write. I always write real, but because I write what I feel, but I'll project it. 100% of what I write is 75% true. Where I'll tell some sort of story, and then for the first couple of verses, and then the last verse will be where I'm afraid I'll end up, or the character there is as me will end up in a spot that I could see myself ending up at, and people somewhere somehow, even though it might seem outlandish, I'm sure I have. Because I read a lot about mental illness and stuff like that, and drug abuse and whatever, and people that are victims of their own actions, basically, or whatever. And I don't know, it's just like, what was the question?
I think you answered 5 of them.
Yeah, well, that's okay. There it is. So, it's the fact that, you got to keep things somewhat. If your life becomes complacent in life, you lose that edge. And punk is about having that edge, the rebellious edge, and to be edgy. Yeah. And it's like, and to lose touch with the underground, to lose touch with the generations coming up. The kids that you once were. If you can't relate still with where they're at, then you shouldn't be talking to them.
Yeah.